When I was younger, mornings were always a rush. Wake up, grab coffee, skip breakfast, and run out the door. But now, at 70 years old, I see mornings in a completely different light. They are not something to get through. They are something to protect. In fact, I believe the way you spend the first hour of your day, especially after retirement, can shape your entire life, not just your schedule, but your health, your happiness, and your peace of mind. In this video, I want to share 7 simple morning habits I follow before 9 o'clock that help me feel more alive, more grounded, and more in control. They are not complicated. They do not require a gym or a plan, just a little intention. If you are retired or getting close, and you want to wake up each day feeling clearer, lighter, and more connected to life, stay with me. These 7 habits changed my mornings, and over time, they changed me too. Habit number 1, start your day with the right drink. At 70 years old, I've learned that how you begin your day often decides how the rest of it unfolds. And for me, it all starts with what I drink. Not coffee, not juice, not anything fancy, just a simple glass of warm water. I used to laugh when people said that. I thought, water? First thing? That's it? But now I know it's not just about the drink. It's about what it does for your body after a long night of rest. See, when you sleep, your body goes hours without hydration. For someone my age, that can mean waking up with stiffness in the joints, dry mouth, sluggish thinking. That's why I begin every morning with a full glass of warm water. Not cold, never cold, just slightly warmer than room temperature. It goes down easier, and I can feel it moving through me, waking up everything gently. Most mornings, I add a slice of lemon. It brightens the taste and helps with digestion. 2 or 3 times a week, I'll drop in a small piece of fresh ginger. If my throat feels scratchy, or if the weather's cold, I'll add a half teaspoon of raw honey. Not for sweetness, but for comfort. This little routine, it's 5 minutes at most, but it reminds me I'm choosing to treat my body with care. And after 70 years, it deserves care. Not punishment, not shortcuts, just simple, consistent respect. I don't gulp it down. I sip it slowly, sitting by the window or standing on my back porch. Sometimes I whisper a little thank you under my breath. Thank you for another day. Thank you for the chance to be here. It might sound silly to someone younger, but when you've lost people, when you've lived through real grief, those quiet morning sips feel like a blessing. And no, this isn't some miracle cure. It won't erase pain or fix bad knees. But I can tell you this. When I start my day by rehydrating, by giving my body something it actually needs, I feel better. More alert, more steady, more prepared for whatever the day brings. If you're retired or even just slowing down, try this tomorrow. Before you check the news, before you make your coffee, before you pick up your phone, have a glass of warm water. Make it a ritual, not a chore. It's a small act of kindness to yourself. And the older I get, the more I believe how we treat ourselves in the morning sets the tone for how the world treats us in return. Habit number 2, eat a gentle, nourishing breakfast. There was a time when breakfast meant nothing to me. I'd grab a piece of toast, maybe a donut, wash it down with coffee, and move on with my day. I didn't care if it was balanced, healthy, or even real food. It was just a routine. But after retirement, when the pace of life changed, I began to notice how I felt after those empty breakfasts. Heavy, sluggish, jittery from the caffeine. Worse, I'd crash mid-morning and wonder why I felt so out of sorts. So I made a change. I stopped skipping breakfast, and I stopped treating it like an afterthought. Instead, I began treating it like what it is, fuel for the rest of the day, especially at my age. Now, every morning, I take the time to prepare what I call a gentle breakfast. Something warm, light, and steady. Nothing that overwhelms the stomach. Nothing that spikes the blood sugar. Something that tells my body, we're going to take care of you today. Most days, I have oatmeal, rolled oats, slow cooked with water or almond milk. I'll top it with blueberries, a dash of cinnamon, and a spoonful of ground flaxseed or chia. Sometimes I slice in a banana or add a few walnuts. It's simple, but it's balanced. Fiber, protein, healthy fats. On other mornings, I'll have a soft-boiled egg with a piece of whole grain toast, or Greek yogurt with berries and a drizzle of honey. Once a week, I treat myself to avocado on toast with a bit of olive oil and black pepper. The key is keeping it clean, whole, and easy to digest. And always, I sit down to eat. No television, no distractions. I chew slowly. I let the warmth settle in. Sometimes I eat on the back porch with a light breeze. Other days, I stay by the kitchen window and watch the birds. Here's the thing. When you eat with intention, your body responds with gratitude. My digestion improved. My energy leveled out. My mood in the morning lifted because I wasn't crashing on caffeine and sugar. I was nourished. Now I know there are people who say, I'm not a breakfast person. I used to say that too. But more often than not, what they mean is, they haven't found a kind way to eat in the morning. Something that makes them feel cared for, not rushed or overloaded. So if you're in that space, retired, slowing down, looking to feel more steady, start by changing how you eat in the morning. Not drastically, just gently. Give yourself foods that are soft, warm, colorful, alive. Your body will know what to do with it. It's been waiting for you to notice. Habit number 3. Step outside and let the morning touch your skin. When I was younger, I barely noticed the mornings. I'd rush through them, eyes half open, always heading somewhere. Retirement changed that. Suddenly, I had time. I wasn't expected anywhere. But for a while, I still stayed indoors. I'd sit by the window, drink my water, eat my breakfast, and start the day inside, physically and mentally. But something was missing. I felt stuck in my head, heavy, slow, even on days when I wasn't doing much. Then one morning, purely by chance, I stepped out onto the back porch. No shoes, just socks. The sun was barely up. The air was crisp. And I just stood there holding my tea. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something shift. My breathing slowed. My shoulders relaxed. My mind, which had been spinning in quiet worry, calmed down. There was something healing about it. The cold wood under my feet, the breeze brushing against my skin, the sounds of birds waking up. Nature was saying, "You're here. This is still your world." Now I make it a point to step outside every single morning, even if just for 5 minutes. Sometimes I stand on the porch. Other times I walk slowly across the yard, just a few steps barefoot if the ground is dry and warm enough. I look up at the sky. I breathe deeply. I let the light hit my face. And it's not just about fresh air. There's something almost spiritual about exposing yourself to real light, real wind, real sky, before the world starts talking at you. It reminds me I'm not just alive. I'm part of something bigger. Science has caught up with this truth too. Getting sunlight in the morning, even just 10 minutes, helps regulate your internal clock. It balances your hormones, improves your sleep, sharpens your alertness. But more than that, it reminds you that the world is still beautiful, still turning, and that you're still invited to be part of it. Sometimes I talk to my plants. Sometimes I just listen to the wind in the trees. And on cloudy days, I go out anyway. Because even gray skies carry their own kind of peace. If you live in an apartment, crack a window. Sit on a balcony. If you're in the city, find a quiet corner. Even if it's just the building's front steps. The key is not where you go. The key is that you go outside into the world before it gets noisy. You don't need to hike. You don't need to jog. You just need to show up to the morning. Because I've found this to be true. The more I let the world in, the more I feel like I still belong in it. Habit number 4. Stretch your body like you're saying good morning to it. For most of my life, I thought exercise had to mean something intense, sweating, pushing, counting reps. But at 70, I've come to see movement differently. It's not about building muscle. It's about maintaining connection to your joints, your breath, and your balance. Most mornings, right after I step outside or finish my water, I spend about 5 to 10 minutes gently stretching. Not yoga, not calisthenics, just slow, respectful movements, as if I'm checking in with each part of my body, one at a time. I start by raising both arms up slowly, as high as they'll go. Sometimes they creak, sometimes they resist, but I don't force them. I just breathe in as I lift and breathe out as I lower. Then I roll my shoulders forward 5 times, backward 5 times. I tilt my head gently side to side, like I'm greeting the morning from left to right. I make slow circles with my wrists and ankles, waking up the edges of my body that often get ignored. Sometimes I stand and sway from side to side, just to feel my hips loosen. Other times, I sit in a chair and do simple leg lifts. There's no right way. There's only your way, the way your body wants to move today. The important thing is to move it. As we age, stiffness becomes a quiet enemy. It sneaks in while we sleep. It shows up when we sit too long. And if we're not careful, it makes itself permanent. But movement, even gentle, deliberate stretching, keeps the body honest. It tells the joints, I still need you. It tells the back, you still matter. And it tells the heart, we're still in this. What surprises me is how stretching doesn't just change my body, it changes my mood. After just a few minutes, I feel more alert, more present. My breathing deepens. I carry myself differently through the rest of the day. And it doesn't take long, 5 minutes, maybe 10. But that small investment reminds me I'm not just a bystander in this body. I'm still the one driving it. No one else has to see. No gym. No audience. Just you, your breath, and your bones. If you're new to this, start small. Stretch while you're still in bed. Reach your arms up before you even rise. Swing your legs gently over the edge. Listen to how your joints respond. Give thanks for every part that still moves. This is not about fitness. This is about friendship. With the body that's carried you through decades of living. So every morning, before the chores begin, before the phone rings, I take a moment to stretch. And in that quiet act, I'm saying to myself, good morning. I'm still here. Let's keep going. Habit number 5. Do one thing with full presence. no multitasking. When I was still working, I prided myself on how much I could juggle. I'd be eating breakfast, reading the paper, checking my watch, and thinking about 3 problems at once. Back then, that kind of speed felt like power. But now, at 70, I see things differently. Retirement has given me time, a lot of it. And for a while, I didn't know what to do with that time. I filled it the same way I used to, bouncing from one task to the next, doing 5 things halfway instead of one thing with care. And you know what happened? I still felt anxious. I still felt like I hadn't really lived through the day. I was doing, not being. Then I started something small, something that changed everything. Each morning, I pick one simple action and give it my full attention. It might be wiping down the kitchen counter, or folding a towel, or pouring tea into a favorite mug. Whatever it is, I make a choice to do it slowly, completely, and without distraction. No television in the background, no phone in my hand, just me and the moment. You'd be surprised how profound that feels. When I pour my tea with both hands, watching the steam rise, I notice the warmth in my palms. When I sweep the front porch, I hear the soft rhythm of the broom, feel the breeze on my skin, and remember that I'm still here, still useful, still alive. And in those moments, the past and future go quiet. There's only now, only presence. This is what some people call mindfulness, but to me, it's just respect. Respect for time, for breath, for life. I'm not trying to become a monk. I'm not meditating on a mountaintop. I'm just learning to be fully present in one ordinary task each morning. And the peace it brings me is worth more than anything I ever rushed through. Presence doesn't require silence or perfection. You can be present while brushing your teeth. You can be present while slicing a banana. The point is not what you do. It's how you do it, with awareness, not autopilot. And when you start your morning that way, everything else follows. Your conversations become more sincere. Your meals taste richer. Even the quiet feels like company. So if your mornings feel scattered, don't try to fix everything at once. Just choose one thing. And do it like it's the only thing that matters. Because in that moment, it is. Habit number 6. Feed your mind before the world gets loud. When people talk about morning routines, they often focus on the body. Drink water, stretch, eat well. And all of that matters. But I've learned something else over the years. Your mind needs breakfast too. I don't mean news headlines. I don't mean checking email. I mean something that nourishes your thoughts. Something quiet, personal, and intentional. Because if you don't choose what enters your mind early in the day, the world will choose for you. And the world is loud. So I've made it a habit every morning to give my mind something gentle before the noise begins. Some mornings, I read a short passage from a book I love. Not a heavy novel. Just something thoughtful. A few pages from a memoir, a bit of poetry, or a spiritual reflection. Something that reminds me of who I am and what matters. Other mornings, I write in a small notebook. Nothing long, just a sentence or two. I might write, "Today I'm grateful for the quiet," or "I hope to be kind today." Some days, I write a memory that comes to me out of nowhere, just so it doesn't fade away. And sometimes, I simply sit and listen to the birds, to the hum of the heater, to my own breath. This is not about productivity. I'm not trying to get ahead. I'm trying to start soft, start human, and it makes a difference. When I feed my mind something calm and beautiful before 9 a.m., I carry that calm with me through the day. I don't snap as easily. I don't spiral into worry as quickly. I walk slower. I speak more kindly, even to myself. This habit has become sacred to me. Just 15 minutes. No screens, no pressure. Just one act of mental kindness to begin the day. If reading's not your thing, try music, something slow and melodic. If music isn't it, try stepping outside and saying a silent prayer or setting an intention. The point is to give your mind something clean before it gets crowded. Because we're not just aging physically, we're aging mentally too. And just like our joints need care, our thoughts need gentleness. So each morning I ask myself, what will I offer my mind today? And then I listen, not to the news, not to the phone, but to that quiet part of me that still hopes, still dreams, still wonders. Because that part of me, that part of you, is still very much alive, and it deserves to be fed. Habit number 7, choose one thing to look forward to today. When I first retired, I thought I would wake up every day excited. After all, wasn't this what I had worked for? A lifetime of saving, pushing, providing. Now finally a life of freedom, slow mornings and peace. But the truth is, some mornings I woke up and felt nothing. No meetings, no deadlines, no real reason to get out of bed other than habit. And as much as I appreciated the rest, there were days I wondered, is this it? That's when I learned something simple, but powerful. Hope doesn't have to come from the big things. It can come from something small. A moment you plant at the start of the day that you look forward to. Now, every morning, after I've had my water, eaten my breakfast, stretched my arms, and taken in the morning air, I sit down and ask myself one quiet question. What is one thing I'm looking forward to today? It might be small, a phone call with my granddaughter, a walk through the park if the weather holds, reading 2 chapters from a book I've been slowly working through, making a simple soup I haven't cooked in years, rewatching a favorite movie from the 1970s. Sometimes it's just sitting on the porch with a blanket around my shoulders at sunset. That's it. But it's mine. It gives the day shape, a gentle thread pulling me forward with purpose. This small habit changed how I experience my days. I no longer feel like I'm drifting from morning to night. Instead, I move towards something. It doesn't have to be exciting. It just has to be intentional. I've come to believe that one of the quiet dangers of retirement is losing your sense of anticipation. When we stop looking forward to things, no matter how small, the days begin to blur and the joy fades in the background. But when you wake up and name something to look forward to, you're doing something beautiful. You're choosing life, not in a grand dramatic way, but in a way that says, I still care. I still want to be here. I still have something worth getting up for. Some people wait for big events, a trip, a reunion, a holiday, and those are wonderful. But we can't build a life waiting only for the big things. We need small joys too. Daily joys. The kind that don't require planning or money or other people's permission. That's what this habit gives me. A way to anchor my day in something personal, something I choose, something that lights a quiet spark inside me. And I've found that once I start looking forward to one thing, I start seeing more. A neighbor's wave, the way the light hits the kitchen counter at noon, the sound of my old record player crackling to life. It all begins with one question. What small thing am I excited about today? And if the answer doesn't come right away, I don't panic. I just sit a little longer. I think about what makes me feel most alive. And I let the answer find me. Because even at 70, especially at 70, I want to live with a sense of expectancy, not just existence. You've just heard the 7 morning habits that I live by. Simple things, small choices. But they've made a world of difference in my life after retirement. They don't take much time. They don't require money or youth or perfect health. What they ask for is presence, a little bit of care, a quiet promise to yourself each morning that you're still here and you still matter. You don't have to do all 7 tomorrow. Maybe just 1. Maybe you drink your water slowly or step outside for 5 minutes. Maybe you stretch your arms or write down what you're looking forward to. Whatever it is, do it with your whole heart. Because the first hour of your day isn't just about routine. It's about reminding yourself that this day is yours. You're not just passing time anymore. You're shaping it. At 70, I've come to believe the world still has beauty to offer me. And I still have something to offer it, even if it's just a smile, a phone call, a pot of tea, or one moment of peace I created for myself before the day begins. So tomorrow, when you wake up, don't rush, don't drift. Choose to begin with intention. Choose to honor your breath, your body, your mind, your soul. And remember, no matter your age, it's never too late to start your morning with meaning. You deserve mornings that feel gentle. You deserve days that feel yours. And it all begins before 9 a.m.